I definitely will say that the birth control thing felt like a Band-Aid, where like we've talked about 100 times, healing your body from the inside out is actually like a solution to the problem versus, a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
You're doing great, Kail.
That is a good way to put it. I feel like that should be the start of this podcast. So right off the bat.
Doctor said you got PCOS. Now go on, girl, just lose some weight. Till I took the symptoms into my own hands and reversed them naturally. So I became a dietitian to help my sisters feel the best they've ever felt. Take a step in my direction if you wanna prove them wrong and take control of yourself. Join a sister and a mister.
Welcome, everybody. Today is part 2 with Kail Lowry. She is a television personality, book author, social media influencer, and mother of 4, as well as a PCOS sister who has been on a PCOS journey since our first episode with her. Welcome, Kail.
Welcome.
Thank you guys. Hi.
How have you been?
I've been okay. Slightly overwhelmed still with the PCOS stuff. Since our first podcast together, I've had like an overwhelming, like influx of people who think they have PCOS or have PCOS, and they send me so much information. And I try to be a little selective on where I actually take information from. And if it contradicts pretty much anything that you guys have told me, I'm like, probably not.
I know you probably opened up yourself to the whole world of PCOS, like as an advocate. So you must be getting a lot of questions. What are like the most common questions you get?
Well, I've had people tell me, oh, like just work out. Or what do you do to work out? And I'm in this like mindset where I know that my diet changes are the number one thing right now. And I don't want to focus on anything else outside of that until I get that under control. And so that's kind of where that's pretty much where I start when people ask me about it. I'm just like, you have to get your diet under control. And I'm still working on that. So I don't really have advice for you, but people have
with you. It's a process.
Mm-hmm. And I know last time we talked, I was telling you how I was struggling with the diet part, and I still am. Now it's like, I don't really have an appetite. So when I do, it's kind of like whatever is around. But I'm finally in a place where I want to start like incorporating workouts. And so I don't feel like in a great place to like give advice yet. So I just tell people to go listen to your podcast.
Well, that's totally fine, because you are on that journey, figuring it out for yourself and what's healthy for you. And that's not an easy journey to be on. There's no like book manual. How does Kail Lowry reverse her PCOS? Everyone's different.
And I do agree, like the first and most important thing is nutrition, is diet, and then exercise afterwards. Even though I'm like a personal trainer, I still agree that nutrition is the most important aspect.
Yeah. If you don't have that down, a lot of your effort with workouts is really just pointless if you're not eating properly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that goes for everyone though, like not just necessarily PCOS. I think that's people in general, right? Like if you're working out every day, but you're eating whatever you want at all times, you're not going to see the results that you want to see. So I had a small win, and I tagged you guys on it yesterday on my story. I went to my annual visit, and don't get me wrong, I love my GYN. I think he's great. But I was a little upset, and I felt like I was the epitome of all the graphics I see on Instagram about, did your doctor just tell you this? And like, just put you in like a generalization, like a category. And because I have so much respect for him as a doctor, I was so upset when I was like, metformin didn't work for me and I don't have any intentions of starting it again. What are my next steps? And he's like, getting on the pill. And I just literally, like, my eyes just welled up, because I was like, that, I just have so much respect for him. I just didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially after you've been going through for last couple of months with PCOS. And I don't know why that's the first thing they resort to.
I don't know why it's the first thing either, but that is generally what they've been taught. And so I almost don't expect anything else from any gynecologist. And if I hear something other than birth control, I'm like excited that they did research or like beyond, what they've learned in school about PCOS.
Mm-hmm.
But generally doctors, that's what they have learned. And there's just so many conditions that doctors need to learn about that it can be really overwhelming for them to know all of the ins and outs of like diet and lifestyle changes for each specific condition. And so since that's not their forte and that's not what they studied, their first suggestion is birth control. That's what they have studied. So if you're looking for diet and lifestyle changes, you would have to look somewhere else, unfortunately, than your gyno. And that's unfortunate because the gyno is the first person you talk to.
Yeah. Have you tried seeing a naturopathic doctor, Kail?
Actually, I was going to say that next. So a friend of mine texted me yesterday and that's what she suggested. And I don't know why that just never really crossed my mind.
Yeah, it's not the main...
right by my house.
Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, it might be worth trying because it's not a mainstream of like, it's not talked about mainstream, but they can be just as helpful as quote unquote regular doctors. I don't know.
They are, yeah.
They are regular doctors.
They are. But they are super helpful because they've reversed PCOS for sisters.
Oh,
like they like the ones I've been to.
Okay.
They're like, well, you can do these supplements, these lifestyle changes. They all told me to go gluten and dairy free. I went to several because I was a little bit like unsure what a naturopathic doctor was. So I just went to several to compare what they were saying, but they were all saying the same thing and it worked.
Okay, so that's definitely something that I will consider doing. I pass one every single day on my way to work, and I don't know why I never thought. But when she said that, I didn't even respond yet because I was going to ask you guys about something like that, and I didn't respond to her, but I will. The other thing that everyone is messaging me is like to see an endocrinologist, which I still haven't done. And I think we touched on that last time. I just have not had the time. But once the kids go back to school and things like that, I'll have like a little bit more, time during the day to schedule that. I just, I just know it's the diet. Like I know that is the number one culprit for me.
Yeah. And sometimes you need help with that too, like a supplement. That's why like a naturopathic doctor, and even like we talk about endocrinologist doctors are amazing as well. Yeah. But naturopathic doctors, they try to push you towards more like natural supplements to help, get different hormonal balances in line, which of course like is important with diet change too, because sometimes there can be just something that's off within the hormones.
Like they'll see if you have excess estrogen and then they'll tell you what supplement to take and what foods to eat for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not as like immediate as an endocrinologist or a gyno, like the solutions, you obviously you don't just like take a supplement and you're fine the next day.
Yeah.
It takes 3 months.
Yeah.
You got to be consistent.
Yeah. But we did see in your story yesterday, you did have a great win to celebrate, and we're very happy about it. Could you tell our audience?
Yeah, so I'm down 12 pounds. So that was a big deal for me. And I had to actually correct my doctor because I asked him like where my weight was last time. And he said it was up. And I said, no, like I checked the scale when I walked in this door. Like you're not about to put a higher number on there. I got back on the scale. I said, look, it's down 12. And he was like, oh, wow. Like he recognized it too. And I'm excited. I'm happy. Yeah. I give credit to Ovasitol though, because I don't know what I just feel better. Like, I don't know. I can't like pinpoint it, but I just feel better. So I think that's really the only thing that I can pinpoint outside of like trying my best to eat okay. That's the only other like real change. I'm saying Ovasitol. I don't know, but that's what I'm saying.
Well, sometimes when you target blood sugar control and you reduce those insulin levels with Ovasitol specifically and diet changes, you stop retaining water, your metabolism works better, you're burning what you're eating instead of carrying it as fat. And sometimes like just diet alone doesn't cut it, especially with PCOS. That 40-1 ratio in the Ovasitol, we're missing that in our cells. We need that ratio for proper metabolism of sugar. And that supplement combined with the diet changes, like lots of people are saying what you're saying.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that makes me feel good then. That's great. I hope more people, I hadn't heard of it until I met you guys. So I hope that people can kind of know about it and see it on my story and kind of look it up, do their own research and maybe try it, because I feel like it can help a lot of people and they just don't know about it.
Yeah. 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 It's not in Inositol isn't talked about as much as like metformin is in Dr.
Right. Exactly. Because I had heard of like metformin, Ozempic, things like that, but I had never heard of Ovasitol until I met you guys. That's
another one. I've heard more and more recently about Ozempic. I see a lot of people talking about it. I think it's like a newer drug, and I'm not sure. I don't have enough data on it to like give a certain answer, but is that something your doctors have mentioned before too?
A couple people mentioned it to me, and I brought it up to my doctor. He was a little apprehensive to put me on metformin in the first place. But prior to like meeting you guys, I didn't know what I know now. And so I was like willing to try anything. He was not even going to consider putting me on Ozempic. I think, and don't quote me on this because I'm not a doctor, but I think it's more associated with diabetes, but it can also help people who have PCOS if that's the route, you know, that they want to go. But I think it's more typically used for diabetes.
So,
yeah. That's the same thing for metformin too. Typically a diabetes drug, but I'm not sure like why they choose one over the other.
Yeah, I didn't really ask questions, and he didn't seem to have, I mean, I don't know if he had enough knowledge on it or he didn't have any interest in putting me on that. So I don't really have any interest in trying it, but if it works for other people, I mean, that's on them, you know?
Yeah.
Did you hear about that sister who took Ovasitol and finally got her period after a year of not having one?
Incredible. I see those kinds of messages on Instagram a lot. How does that even happen?
Well, Ovasitol helps with healing insulin resistance, a common root issue that most PCOS sisters have. And by targeting insulin resistance, we're seeing sisters kick those crazy cravings, finally regulate their periods, ovulate, and improve their egg quality. Each packet of Ovasitol has a 40-to-1 ratio of myo-inositol and D-chiroinositol. This ratio is similar to the ratio that should be found in the body, but with women like me who have PCOS, this ratio is often imbalanced. So, taking Ovasitol can be super effective in treating insulin resistance, starting from the root of the issue.
So awesome. It tastes like nothing, so just warn me when you put it in a cup so I don't drink it.
You got it, boo. Check out the link in the description to get 15% off your order.
All right, babe, let's take a moment to correct our posture, take a deep breath, and have some pure spectrum CBD.
Sure. Hey sisters, CBD can help with acne, inflammation, anxiety, sleep, and so many other PCOS symptoms. I personally take it throughout the day to help keep my stress hormones nice and low. Not to mention, I sleep like a baby every night and I don't wake up fatigued at all.
Now open your mouth, please, so I can give you a serving.
Now
hold it for 60 seconds. Head over to purespectrumcbd.com and use the code THESISTERHOOD, one word, for 10% off.
Can I stop now?
Nope, you got 30 more seconds.
What other diet changes have you made? Like what other changes other than Ovasitol?
I'm trying really hard to be gluten-free. I do have gluten sometimes, so it hasn't been completely come out of my diet. I have slowed down on dairy, again, still not dairy-free, but making better choices. And that's where I'm trying to focus is the small wins.
Of course,
I was like addicted to cheese last time we talked. But now I'm not super addicted to cheese anymore. Maybe I'm just recovering. I don't know.
That's good.
Yeah, just like small changes. And I do struggle with carbs. And I think it's probably because my blood sugar is not balanced. So like sometimes, especially at night, like I'll go hours and hours and hours without eating. And then I just am craving carbs at night, probably because it hasn't been balanced throughout the day.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling with that.
Are you like not having carbs throughout the day and then?
Pretty much. And then at the end of the like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and then I'm awake. Normally I go to bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I'm up and then I'm up craving carbs. So that's where but again, I think it's just like the inconsistency throughout the day and what I'm eating and like how much I'm eating. So it's definitely my fault. I'm going to get it under control because I know that I'm making changes. So I'm capable of it.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. Well, it's not your fault. It takes so much time or an effort to like get the right things going. So it's not your fault at all. And I would just think about like switching that up, like the way you're doing the carbs right now, instead of like, not having as much during the day and then having more in the evening. If you just reverse that and had more throughout the day and had less in the evening, it's probably going to get rid of some of those cravings at night.
Exactly. Just spreading them out throughout the day. You know, it's not that we have to avoid all the carbs, but we just have to understand how much our body tolerates. And so that doesn't mean like cutting it out completely, but maybe that means having like 25, 35 grams for breakfast, same amount for lunch, same amount for dinner. And then you might not crave any carbs later. And that's great because now your body has a chance to slowly absorb that amount of carb after the meal. Like you're not having like all 100 grams in one meal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you have like 25 grams with breakfast, you absorb that. Then at lunch, you absorb that. Your blood sugar is not going up and then down.
It's just the hard part is when you're going through life sometimes, right? I'm sure with 4 kids, you're like, or with your career, like it's hard to have the time to like put aside for breakfast and make sure it has 25, 30 grams of carbs.
Oh, the first time I ate today, it's 2:18 Eastern Standard Time right now. And I just ate for the first time today at 1:00.
Oh man.
That's tough.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's just, and then last night I did the same thing and I had rice at like 9:00 at night because that's all I had. It's like leftovers I had. But it's been a journey for sure.
Yeah. You're doing it. You're doing it slowly. And as long as you persevere, you're going to figure it out and get it totally down. And before you know it, your fridge is going to be packed with things you've already prepared and things you've planned ahead for. You know,
can I just bring up one thing that I've noticed though, that I feel like is, and maybe you've experienced it too. I feel like as adults, like a lot of weight conversations come up, diet, gym, those things just come up more regularly than I feel like when we were younger. When I have those conversations with like my peers or my friends and it comes up like I have PCOS, I feel frustrated when people don't know what that is. And I don't know if you've experienced that. I guess once it affects you, you realize, how important it is to be aware of these things. But I get so frustrated in having to explain it and like what it does to my body and why I'm not able to lose weight and why I'm not able to have certain things or why I'm struggling even more with my food, because I already had an unhealthy relationship with food prior because of my childhood and things like that. And then this on top of it, it's very frustrating for me. So I want to raise awareness about PCOS, but it makes it really difficult when I'm frustrated that nobody else even has like any clue about it. Did you experience that at all?
Yeah, because it's just where is it? It's not on TV. I saw it one time in a TV show. What was it called?
Well, Good Morning America with Leah Michelle. I remember something like that.
Leah Michelle has it. I heard that. There was another show that had it.
But they only talk about it once every year or every 2 years it comes up.
Ridiculous.
And I mean, it's not the same frustration that you're feeling, but a lot of times people will ask us like, oh, like what do you do and what is PCOS? And like you always explain what it is. And I totally get that frustration because it's like, how do people not know about this at this point? It's just it goes over people's heads.
It's really shocking that more people don't know about it and don't understand the metabolic impact that it has on 1 in 5 women in some countries, 1 in 5, and in some countries, 1 in 10. That's a lot of people who are struggling with a metabolic issue and just gaining weight without even overeating. It's just their metabolism. And
well, I think it gets frustrating too, because the people will just go to the gym. Just go to the gym.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you're not understanding what I'm saying. And now I'm getting frustrated because you're not how I'm describing it is not good enough for you, or it doesn't seem serious enough, are my symptoms that I'm trying to tell you I cannot lose weight this way, or that does not work for me, or eating right still is going to take longer than an average person for me to lose weight because of this. They just don't think it's that serious. And I'm like, and then it affects my mental health because I can't do these things. And I don't think that part of PCOS is talked about enough.
I'm so with you.
Okay.
I mean, for advice in terms of situations like this, what would you say, Siraj?
Oh, you're putting it on me?
I don't know. I'm trying to think what would I do in that scenario? I typically I explain to the best of my ability. And yes, it's offensive when they don't understand or validate what I just said, because it just can't wrap around their head that someone could gain weight exponentially without overeating.
Yeah.
But then I'm just whatever, I'm doing all these things. I'm feeling better. Who cares what they think? As long as I'm doing me and focusing on myself and I'm happy.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. You do you then.
I feel like people these days, they only understand the main conditions. If you for example, if you said you had diabetes, people would immediately understand and be like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But because PCOS is a more of a spectrum, everyone has different symptoms, and it's not as common, or it's not as talked about. People are just they don't take it as seriously, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say something that's more widely known, like diabetes or thyroid or Hashimoto's. Like I feel like people know those things. That's where it gets tough. It's just more awareness has to be spread.
A lot of people already know that if you have a thyroid condition, it's harder to lose weight, right? So if someone with a thyroid condition says, I have Hashimoto's, they're like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But then you say PCOS and they're like, what's that? And you explain it. They're like, just go to the gym.
Yes.
You literally say that to someone with Hashimoto's.
Like you would never say that to someone with any other condition or disease. So obviously if it was that simple, I would have been doing it already.
Yeah.
You know, like we would all just be in gym. We'd all have gym memberships and doing whatever. I'm like, I just get so frustrated. So I just wanted to know if that was something that you also struggled with, but maybe, once I'm not there yet. I'm still in this, like, cause it's so new to me. Yeah. And so I haven't really gone through some of this, but it's definitely been a journey over these past few months.
I want to say also that managing PCOS is like a 24/7 thing. Like, whereas someone else would lose weight from going to the gym and just like eating generally healthy, with PCOS, your blood sugar control is a 24/7 thing. Like, how much protein was in your breakfast? That's going to help stabilize your blood sugar until your next meal, which is lunch. Did you make sure that your lunch is balanced and it has carbs and fiber and protein so that your blood sugar is stable until dinner, so that you don't have cravings and your mood doesn't change, or you don't crave sugar and the insulin resistance isn't aggravated, because when it's aggravated, that's what triggers a lot of PCOS symptoms like high testosterone, etc. And so we're always thinking about it 24/7. And so I don't expect you to go like overnight, like perfectly eating and have everything like stocked in your fridge and pantry and just like know what to do, because it's not as simple as like one lifestyle change. It's like a 24/7, like, what am I doing for my blood sugar right now? Am I hungry? Do I have a snack in my purse? Oops, I forgot. You know?
Right, exactly. And that's part of everything that I was just saying when I get frustrated with people. It's like, I don't want to go, I want people to understand. So that way, when I'm like, I don't want to get hangry, I don't want to be, energy dropped, or I'm craving carbs right now. Like, I don't want any of that. I just want everyone to understand. And I thought that people would get it, but it seems like people have more questions because they think they have it, not because they don't know what it is. You get what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Because it's a wide spectrum of symptoms. So everyone who has one symptom, let's say acne or irregular periods or whatever, like they think, okay, it might be PCOS. So then they probably just come to you and be like, can you tell me if I have PCOS or not?
Like, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Like, this is my experience. I'm just trying to share it with you guys. Advocate for yourselves for sure.
And more recently, I've been hearing it being called a metabolic disorder instead of being called PCOS. And I wonder if that's like a new developing term for it. But I don't know if people would understand that either. If you say, oh, I have a metabolic disorder, like they may. Doesn't
that sound more, your metabolism has a disorder, that means you gain weight. Like it kind of like makes more sense.
Yeah, I think so. I think so, because I think people would be more inclined to metabolism. I mean, I would automatically know kind of like what that would mean. Like I would use my context clues.
Yeah.
Because you say PCOS, they're like, what does PCOS stand for? And then you tell them polycystic ovarian syndrome, and that doesn't explain anything further. Now they're like, what does that mean? And it's like, it's more question after another, after another. Yeah, maybe just saying PCOS is a metabolic, or you can say I have a metabolic disorder called PCOS.
There you go.
That might be
a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That is a good way to put it. I feel like that should be the start of this podcast. So right off the bat.
Honestly, I think they're going to change the name of PCOS one day. And I read that on Google once.
Are you going to pull it up right now?
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
She's like, hold on, I'll pull up the article.
Oh, okay. Oh, in July 2016, the new name was proposed to be metabolic reproductive syndrome.
That's a pretty good name.
Makes sense. Because it's metabolic, it's covering all bases, right? Like metabolic, the metabolism, and also, the reproductive aspect.
Yeah, exactly.
The new name enhances the recognition of this major public health issue and can lead to greater educational outreach. That's good.
Yeah.
We're onto something. Clearly, we should have been named in the article.
Yeah.
Right?
So, by the way, I know you have 4 kids. Do you ever try explaining PCOS to them so that they're more aware of like what you're going through, or maybe not yet?
My older one Yes, because he's 11 and just wise beyond his years. And so when he notices changes in my body, or, when I was having acne as an adult, and he's going through puberty right now. So I did talk to him about it. It was like, I had it too. Like, I remember when mommy used to, have all of it, like, and I would explain it to him. My younger one's not so much yet, but I would like to address it as they're young, because one, it would create more awareness. And two, if they know more now, then they are able to kind of understand and just be mindful of that.
Yeah,
for sure.
And they'll also be more inclined to see their health as individual. Like, instead of just doing whatever they find on Google, they'll take you as an example, and they'll be more like independent. Independent thinkers of like what works for them, instead of just doing what their friends are doing. If their friends are cutting calories or like doing some crazy fad diet, whatever, they'll be more self-aware.
It has given me a little bit of leverage too when we talk about food, because like I told you earlier in the podcast, I haven't always had a healthy relationship with food. And I do think that a lot of our health issues are from what we eat. So now I can be like, well, see, if I eat right, this is how it will be better or worse. And I can say the same for them. Like, these things will be taken care of if you eat well, or, if you eat well, then you maybe won't have, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want to specify, because I don't want to like categorize anything, but, eating well will help you in the long run most of the time. So you can make adjustments to your diet to get results, hopefully that you want.
What are some symptom improvements you see after going gluten-free or dairy-free that make you motivated to continue?
The dairy thing is huge for me. I've noticed I was on Accutane for a little while, but then once I started having symptoms of PCOS and I got diagnosed, it was crazy, because at that time my acne started flaring up again. And I was like, I was on Accutane, like, what is going on? Cutting out almost all dairy has like my acne. I have like these are moles, not pimples. My acne just completely is gone again. So I'm like, clearly it was a dairy. It has to be.
I know. If only they could tell people to go dairy-free before taking Accutane.
Right. If I would have known, you know what I mean? Like, I just could not believe that little change. And like I said, I didn't cut it out all the way, but just like minimizing my dairy intake. I completely don't drink milk at all. I do have cheese here and there, but like, I'm not eating cheese daily. And sometimes I can go weeks without eating cheese or any kind of dairy. So I like just the way that I feel in my skin and like the texture of my skin, even, it's just like, I don't have the flare-ups.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Wow.
And there's actual research studies showing acne and dairy correlation. So it's a real thing. Like, it's been proven in research studies.
Oh, my son just walked in the room. Sorry.
That's okay.
Hi.
Want to say hi? Oh, he made me a picture.
Oh, it looks so good.
You want to go put it out there for me? Thank you. So that was like number one. And especially when you're on TV or social media, as you guys know, like, you don't want to have to like be trying to cover up breakouts and stuff like that. That was the biggest one for me.
Yeah. Anytime Tallene takes just one bite of cheese, like, let's say we're out and she's like, let me just take a bite of this. The next day or 2 days after, she gets like the jawline acne, like immediately.
Yes. Yep. Right in here. It was like on my neck, mainly right here. And I was just like, this is not fun. I actually saw that on your story whenever you posted it. And I was like, I can relate, like, wholeheartedly can relate to that.
Yeah. I should post it next time. Again, I don't post it every time because I'm like, oh, whatever. Like, I don't want to see it, I don't want to look at it and just wait a couple days for it to go away. But I found that I was actually in denial. Like, I knew dairy was not benefiting me. I knew it was affecting me. And then I was like, but just one little slice a day. Like, this was a few years ago. I thought like one slice a day would be fine. But it was that one slice was enough to completely ruin my face and just cause all this acne. One little slice. That, for me, everyone's different, but that was enough to do it.
It's hard. It's so hard. And sometimes I'm like, it'll be fine. And it's not fine. It's not fine because I don't want to, like, feeling good for like eating something that I want to eat is not worth feeling like crap for a whole week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not worth it.
And who knows what that's doing inside of us? Like, forget our acne. Like, what about our insides?
Yeah, inflammation that's causing inside. Yeah,
exactly. All this inflammation and high androgen levels and
insulin.
That's going to affect our ovarian cysts like development. That contributes to it. Inflammation, insulin, high androgens. This is a recipe for ovarian cysts if you're susceptible to that, which I am. So it's like, it's like not worth it.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form.
Not at all.
What about gluten?
I can't really, just because I haven't cut it out all the way. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are positives, but I just don't. I'm down 12 pounds. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, that's great. Are you swapping out like bread and pasta mainly?
I tried to pretty much cut out bread and pasta. I do eat rice because I think it was you that told me I could have like things that grow in the earth, like potatoes and rice. Yeah. So those are, I did have rice last night, but I try really hard not to eat like white wheat, any of it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, that's step one, you know?
I mean, the proof.
Though, because I feel like I still have so much work to do. Like
what is it? What do you feel like, if you're open to sharing, like what are some of the things you feel like you have work to do?
I just think going completely dairy-free, going completely gluten-free. And then I also am having a hard time. I don't eat enough protein. So I'm filling it with things that I probably like. I had chicken and rice yesterday and definitely should have had more chicken, less rice, but instead I had more rice, less chicken. Do you know what I mean? Like things like that I know I can get a grip on it, but it's just like having the willpower to like actually like prioritize. But I was starving last night, didn't eat all day. You know what I mean? Like things that where if I actually take the time, I can do it, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah. No, it's hard finding the time. And honestly, I feel like it just takes sometimes 2 weeks of doing something to make it like a permanent habit.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you just do it for something for 2 weeks, your mind starts to like make it a normal thing so that when you don't do it, it feels like you're missing it.
Yeah.
So like when you don't have time, one thing I would suggest is like for breakfast, making like a really quick 5-minute smoothie, because that can just take 5 minutes, just adding protein powder, half a banana, spinach, a little fruit here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 5 minutes, you have like a smoothie and
full of fat, full of protein, ready to stabilize your blood sugar.
And I know that sounds easier than like it is to do because life is just busy, but
you have 5 minutes. I've timed myself. Like I'm in a rush too in the mornings. I don't like lollygagging with breakfast, but let me tell you, a smoothie takes 5 minutes. And if you get like pre-made smoothie ingredient cups,
like Daily Harvest.
Yeah, we use Daily Harvest. If you just get something like that and then add in your protein powder, like, you know,
inside of it.
I was actually using Daily Harvest for a little while, but I didn't think to even add things to it.
Yeah, it doesn't have enough protein. So you want to definitely add like 1 to 2 scoops of protein into it.
Down. Yeah. I definitely, because I was using them too, but I was like, this doesn't feel like it's not that it wasn't doing enough, but I think maybe I just needed to add some things to it.
Yeah.
Because it has more like it's more based in fruit and more based with like coconut and like nuts and stuff. So it has a lot of beneficial nutrients. It doesn't have enough protein. That's the only thing it's lacking, in my opinion.
But I like the variety of flavors and I like how easy it is.
Yeah.
I mean, just add like a tablespoon of chia seeds. Those are really good for PCOS, very high in healthy fats, protein, fiber, keeps you full long.
Scoop of almond butter helps too with protein and healthy fats.
Yeah.
I'm writing all this down. Hold on.
Okay, so protein, chia seeds, almond butter, or any other nut butter.
Banana. For some reason, I had cut out bananas. I had cut out bananas because I thought they were too high in carbs. Is that not accurate?
You can put half a banana, but I think Daily Harvest already has bananas in there or other sort of like fruits. So other fruits. So you don't have to necessarily add it.
Exactly.
Berries, definitely berries. They have.
Yeah.
Okay. But bananas in general, not speaking so much on the smoothie, I don't have to cut out bananas.
We like to say half a banana if you're going to have a banana, because a full banana can be like too much carb, too much sugar that's going to be processed in the body.
Yeah, depending on how insulin sensitive you are, and it sounds like you're struggling with insulin resistance, I would just do half a banana for now and then increase it as your insulin sensitivity improves if you want to. So there you have a quick and easy breakfast that you can just like throw together every morning for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And your body will just get used to it. You'll expect it in the mornings. And now this is like one of the biggest, best first steps in managing PCOS.
Yeah, totally.
Do you feel like if you could, because I'm guilty of skipping breakfast a lot, like out of 7 days, I skip breakfast. Well, I skip breakfast every single day. So do you think that this would be helpful in like balancing the rest of my day?
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
If I get one meal down, I can start doing the same for the other.
Yeah.
Breakfast sets up your day.
Okay.
Like that is the step one. What is my blood sugar going to be today?
Okay.
Stable or unstable?
Exactly. Yeah. So and for anyone who's listening to, like, if you don't have daily harvest or you want to just start from scratch, just keep it very simple. Spinach, half a banana, protein powder, and a nut butter. Those 4 ingredients are, I feel, good. All you need to just start your day, and then set you up for lunch, dinner, etc. Yeah.
Okay.
And do you have any other questions for us, Kail?
No, I feel like I follow your story so much, and everyone's been recommending like all kinds of like influencers and stuff who are knowledgeable on PCOS. And I just think that that's just been super helpful on like a day-to-day, especially whenever I'm like feeling like I have a crappy day as far as like eating or like anything PCOS related. I literally will go reread everything on your Instagram. Like I will just go like reread everything and be like, okay, I'm not crazy. Yeah, I messed up on this, but I'm going to get back to it tomorrow. Like it's just the little thing. So I really appreciate your Instagram so much, and I'll just keep sharing it for people because they need to know. And I hope that we can get all of this under control, and people who don't know if they have PCOS can go on your page and get the info and do what they need to do, because I swear for a whole year I was like, what is wrong with me?
Right.
You know, like could not figure it out. And I never in a million years would have thought PCOS ever.
Yeah. And that diagnosis can be a blessing in disguise. Of course, we know that PCOS isn't a blessing, but in disguise, but just being diagnosed can be a blessing in disguise because you finally know what's going on, and you finally can try to figure out the next best steps. So totally understand what you're saying.
And you can prevent a lot of diseases and chronic conditions from even developing later on in your life, because you're taking control of like blood sugar and stress management, which are key. These are things that trigger lots of different diseases, and you're preventing them by controlling it for your PCOS early on.
I definitely will say that the birth control thing felt like a Band-Aid, where like we've talked about 100 times, like healing your body from the inside out is actually like a solution to the problem versus, you know, a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
You're doing great, Kail.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a video of myself making this for breakfast, and I'm gonna tag you guys.
Okay.
So that way, maybe people will see how, like, if it's, you know, easy, I can make it quick, and maybe other people will be like, okay, we'll start our day good too.
Awesome.
I
can't wait for part 3 of
yes.
Yeah. And
this is awesome.
Is there anything we can promote from your end? Like
nope, I'm good where we're at, and I can't wait for people to hear this episode.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Kail, for joining us.
You.
And thank you all listeners for listening. We'll be back with another episode next week. And thank you, Kail. We appreciate it.
Bye.
See ya.
If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to come check out The Sisterhood. It's my monthly membership site where sisters just like you are learning how to move through the stages of PCOS. From stage 1, cold and alone at the doctor's office, to stage 5, nailing the PCOS lifestyle, gluten and dairy free. Get ready to finally feel in control of your body again.